I know, I've done it. I've gone and done it. I've modified this guitar. I know. I've modified every one of my guitars except for one. The only reason I haven't modified that one yet is that I haven't had it long enough to. So I know, and you're probably wondering like, why modify them? What's wrong with them? Sometimes it's not about what's necessarily wrong with the guitar, but just I look at my guitars as a whole set of tools of how to make music, because that's all they are to me. They're just tools. They're a way to make music. I love them. I love guitars. I love all that stuff, and I'm sure you do too. So what I've done with this one is I've put a set of dimarzio areas here. So this is in the area 61 and in area 67, and then a Mr. Glenn Integrity, I think it's called Integrity humbucker. It's the plus 5%. Amazing. I would have gone for Mr. Glenn's here as well, but with this guitar I wanted to get noiseless pickups, and he doesn't make any noiseless ones. Why noiseless? I know some people have a thing about noiseless Strat pickups. For me, this is not a traditional guitar, right? I'm not going to be using this. If I want traditional Strat thing, then I play a Strat, right? But I play this as like a hot-rodded super Strat, if you will. So for me, it's like I can't handle the single coil noise. This is dead quiet. You can actually hear the humbucker is probably noisier than the other pickups. There's Nick. Humbucker. It's so quiet now. I forget about it. I'm on stage and I'm like, oh, my volume's up. Oh, I would have forgotten before. I did this show, The Wedding Singer, maybe 6 months ago. And during that show, they had a Kemper organised for me. And this was really the final decision as why to go this route with this guitar. The Kemper, I found that in the neck pickup, I was getting so much hum on the Seymour Duncans that were there. It's just single coils. That's what they do, right? And so I had to go to that position between here and here to try and get around it. Super nuisance. It doesn't sound the same. And then on the bridge pickup was fine because I had a humbucker there. And the pickups that were here were amazing. They were really good, but I wanted to just redo it all, have noiseless pickups, be done with it. So what I did was I actually, you'll see here, I took all the wiring out, so the wiring's all in one piece. And so if I ever want to put it back, it just goes all back in, all the wire, everything, all the switches. And the switch that was here, what I did was I took a guitar pick, made a circle out of it and glued it on. So now that can be the, hey man, you're too loud. And I'll go, oh yeah, let me just press the button and turn down. Done that before. And then they go, yeah, perfect, and you go, exactly. So, the reason I did this setup was partly because of my Talman guitar. I never view my guitars in on their own. It's always like, I have this guitar and I have, like, what do I want to pair it with? So for a pop gig, I'd probably turn up with these two instruments, right? This guitar here has a set of Mr. Glenn's. This is his mini humbucker, his Tui single coil, which is a real Strat single coil, and then a Cruel Mistress Telebridge pickup. So looking at these two here, I have a humbucker and a single coil. I have a humbucker and a single coil. And this guitar, it's actually wired so that middle position is the two outside pickups. On this guitar, the middle position is the middle pickup, so I can get that Strat middle pickup. So out of these two guitars, I can cover a lot of bases. And to me, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Like, I see people that have 10 Strats and they're all just different colors, and I go, well, why? They all do the same sort of thing. To me, I'm looking at it going, well, how can I use these tools to make music? And so for me, this tool works alongside this tool together. Now this guitar actually, funny enough, in all positions is quiet except for the bridge pickup, which is a normal single coil, and it's not that bad anyway. And I actually modified this guitar. Some of you will know this old workhorse of mine, the Schofield guitar, the JSM. If you have a look, I took off the second volume and tone and just had one volume, one tone, and I moved the switch over here so that I can reach the volume control a little closer when I'm playing. To me, that suits my style of playing a lot better because I often will play and ride that with this finger. So this guitar was modified. Naturally, I had a look through all my guitars. I've modified all of them. Even like the old L4 that I've got. I modified that to have a pickup in it and took the scratch plate off and did stuff because they're tools. I don't really care. Unless it's like if you had like a 60 Strat and it was all original, maybe don't modify that. But everything else, make them work for you. Unless you have a signature guitar. If you have a signature guitar, then get them to make what you want. If it's not what you want, then why is it your signature guitar, right? Or a custom guitar. But for me, it's like I want to modify these to make them work for me, to play the music I want. Funny enough, I was looking back on this guitar. This is my old Les Paul that I bought. This is the first really good guitar that I bought with my own money. I had shitter guitars beforehand, but this one here, have a look. I've actually taken off the 2 volumes and tones. It's got 1 volume, 1 tone. It's been simplified, and these are actually, if you can see, it's got gold hardware, but these Seymour Duncan Antiquities, which I really like. These are great pickups, the Antiquities. They can be a little noisy. I've heard some people have issues with potting on them, the wax potting, but man, they sound good. I think the Mr. Glenn pickups are just as good, and that's why going forward I'm probably just going to go with all his pickups. I think they're really great. And I've actually been using this guitar a lot now. Prior to that, I did use it somewhat, but for me, single coil hum is a problem, just because of the nature of what I do. I do a lot of sessions where I'm sitting in front of a computer screen like this. And the screen noise creates hum, and you try and move yourself till I just can't be bothered with that anymore. I want it to be noiseless for this particular guitar. Now, does it sound totally like a Strat? Well, not quite. It's not as bright. These dimarzio areas are not as bright. But for me, I'm not really too bothered about that. It's the noiseless is more important than having that little bit of sparkle. Most of the time when I play Strat type guitars, I usually take the volume and I just turn it down to 7 to take a little bit of that top end off anyway. And of course, this humbucker, having this here, the humbucker that was in there was good. The Seymour Duncan was a little hot, and I found that this is kind of in the ballpark of where I want it, which I'm pretty vintage sort of guy. And I've noticed these new AZ models, they've actually gone with a lower output pickup. So maybe that works for you. I do like high output pickups too. The dimarzio Evolutions are really good, but modify your guitars, make them work for you. Pickups are a cheap, easy change to make that makes such a difference with a guitar. And actually, funny enough, I use that middle position on this guitar a lot. I've never really been a middle position guy, but for this, it's kind of, especially if I want to do anything that's lower stringed, I find the neck pickup can sometimes get a little muddy, whereas you put it on that position, and that's the funk. And of course, the between the 2 pickups. It's the classic kind of quack sound. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. So modify your guitars. Do what you want. Make them work for you. Change the frets. Put a new nut in. Put new tuners. Do whatever you want. But I hope this has been useful to you. I've got some new videos coming. You might have seen the Little Wing one that was from the other day. Thanks to Michelle McRae for that video. I always enjoy playing with that band. The blues band is fun. I'm primarily a jazz guy and a session guy. That's what I do. I do a lot of session work. But playing with the blues band is kind of coming back to my roots, and I really enjoy that. And Little Wing, it's a classic Jimi Hendrix tune. It's a vehicle, really, as I see it. I don't play it like Jimmy does, and nor should I, right? Jimmy does that, and I'm never going to do that better than he does. So I do it my way, and as you should too. Just like with your guitars, do them your way. Anyway, thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe. I've got some more videos coming very soon. If you want to know some lesson stuff, let me know. Any of the stuff I do, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get to it if I can. Thanks very much. Cheers.